Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing Junk Journal July. I'm doing prompts 9 through 16, I believe. And this is an amazing kit from Sweet Pea Curiosities. I actually meant to get a different one, but it's okay. I loved this one anyways. All right, this is striped background, which is number 10, and I'm also doing the number 9 prompt on this spread, which is balance. So I'm just using a alcohol marker here, and I'm getting my background. Okay, so something important to know about my approach to Junk Journal July this month is that I'm starting with all white pages. So these are watercolor pages and a little journal that I made. And my hope is that we can explore breaking those white pages, embracing those white pages, and making them junk journal worthy, playing with them and just junking them up. And I think that this hopefully will serve a lot of inspiration for you guys. And if you just have a blank, sketchbook laying around, maybe you're just trying to get started in junk journaling, this would be a great inspiration for someone like that who just wants to play around before having to construct a journal or anything like that. So I hope you'll join me on this journey. I'm just posting one video a week that has all the spreads in it for that week. I know I can't do a daily video. It's just too much for me with everything else that I have going on. So this is my way of doing it. And, I just kind of always do things my way. This is another example of that. All right, so I have all this ephemera and I'm just ink blending around it. I glued down a couple of really old book pages. I mean, they are so old, you guys. And I felt like that was the balance, was having a little bit of a torn book page on one side and a little bit of a torn book page on another. I'll tell you that in all of the spreads that I did for this week's video, I did them kind of combined, like 2 prompts, so 2 days worth of prompts on a spread, like what I'm doing here. So, balance was day number 9, day number 10 was a striped background. And so I'm bringing and marrying those two things together. I just looked up for whatever reason, and I saw this beautiful embroidery floss, and I decided that I was going to add it to the page as well. And so I'm just in a very wonky way gluing it down all the way around both of these pages, again bringing it all together, tying it all together kind of quite literally with string. And so I just ran a little bead of my PVA Lineco glue around, and that's how I'm securing this down. And it is very secure. I love my PVA Lineco glue so much. I'm going to be revisiting this page in our ice cream intervention and that's coming up. So yeah, this video is so long that we're going to have a little break, a little ice cream break here in a minute. I'm adding the word balance on this book page, and the book pages are just super old. It's like from the 30s, this book is, and it keeps just absorbing this alcohol marker to where later I come back and it looks blank again, and so I used a black marker on it. All right, let's move on to day 11 and 12, which is paper samples and gratitude. So as mentioned in my previous video, I'm going to be using just a lot of scraps in this journal. I figure this journal's size is perfect for that. So this little journal I made, I think this one is from a macaroni and cheese box, or it's like, yeah, I think that's exactly what this was. It was once a macaroni and cheese box that I turned into a journal, and it's all on my channel. So this one measures 6 inches long, and it is about 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so that'll give you an idea about the size of this journal. So these are some of my scraps of painted papers that I had made, patterned papers. There's just a little bit of everything here. There's embossed papers, just whatever was in the box that I felt like went well together went onto this double page spread. Okay, so for gratitude, I was just thinking, okay, something that I'm really grateful for is our home and the love that we have and share in our home. And so that is the gratitude part of this spread. And I had this cute little image in my scrap box of a lady washing dishes, which I am the designated dishwasher. It's one of the domestic things that I do. I wash the dishes every day. My kids empty the dishwasher out and put dishes away, but I do the dirty work. But I never mind really because it's just warm, soapy water. I don't know. That is one chore that I just don't mind. So I do it every day. Every day. So, but I'm delighted, and I'm grateful for the fact that I'm healthy enough to wash our dishes, and that I'm able-bodied, and that it's a gift that I can give to my family, and it's a way that I can serve them, and, so I have gratitude for it. I have gratitude for it. Now, I wasn't feeling the colors that everything was colored in. So I went in with my alcohol markers. I made her dress that dark purple. And then I really didn't like the colors of the cabinets. So I did those in a dark brown, which is just like our kitchen. And then I even changed like the green apron that she's wearing. I'll tell you that I left, I only show y'all bits and pieces of each spread today because it was like, again, 85 minutes of raw footage, and that's just a long video, you guys. So I did edit this down to try to make it, a little more bite-sized. And so you just don't see like every single thing that I do, but I am telling you and giving you a little bit of everything that I do in this video. I did crop her down just because the image was a little wonky. And so I just kind of cleaned it up, cropped it down a little bit to fit it a little bit better on my page there. And I just think she's precious. Now that left shoulder of hers is a little cut off, and so I'm going to bring in a painted label. I want to say that this was one of Roxy's things that she did in her weekly challenge this year, but I know I've seen Gail Agostinelli do it as well, so I just don't know. One of those two is the one who inspired me to make some of these a while back. And then I have this adorable, close to my heart stamp set that has this cottage. And I just love the way these stamps were drawn. And so I wanted to use this little cottage because it reminds me of our home. And I decided to stamp it again on some book page. And I'm going to make it the focal point of that right page in the spread. I just loved that. So I'm going to glue that down. And this is on that like 1930s paper. And so I do end up going in and kind of going back over the word home with my pen and the cottage. But first, I tore out some of the scrap of this glitter embossed paper that I have. I just wanted a glitter sparkly stream in front of the house. How lovely, right? I'm going to stamp the word home and, fill some pieces in, and this spread will be done. I hope you guys are doing really wonderful. I know this video is quite long for some of you. For others, you'll just be able to settle down. Maybe it's the end of your day and you came here so that you could just kind of relax and drift off. And for that, I say kudos. Take care of yourself. Rest up. Enjoy. I have been getting quite a lot accomplished today. That always feels good. You guys. Oh, maybe I'll get to that story in a minute. Okay, first, let's do this next spread. Okay, so the next spread is details and torn. So this is details is day 13 and torn is day 14. So for this one, I decided details. Details will just be that I put a lot of details into the spread. So I'm making a very rough, sketchy brick wall here with my pen, and I'm going to add a whole lot to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, once I have it all sketched out, then I'm going to paint on it with watercolor. And once that's dry, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use some of my Light and Fluffy from the Crafters Workshop. You guys know I love this stuff. And I'm just going to add in some really rough grout. Okay, so I'm not going to be precise about this at all, and I'm just placing it kind of all around. I am planning on adding other imagery on here, and so I don't need to do the entire background. I'm just kind of hit and miss and adding it here and there. While that's drying, I had this idea of adding moss that would be kind of growing between the cracks in the brick, and I actually went out and I couldn't find any of ours, so I got this string and I separated all the threads, and then I cut them into little bitty pieces, and I'll bring it up to the camera here. It kind of looks like moss. That was the idea, so I will be gluing that on at the very end. In the meantime, I printed up this printable that I've had for years of doors, and I'm going to use that peach one there. I just think it's lovely, and it really fits the feeling of this soon-to-be building. And I'm going for, a very old world look here. I had this scrap left over. If you saw in my first video, I did like a farm spread, and that's where this scrap came from. That paper was still on my desk, of course, with 4.3 million other things. I am going to sketch on here a very whimsical kind of iron grate over the window. And so I'm just getting very sketchy. You guys, I really need to give more time to Zentangle, because this is where Zentangle could make me a stronger artist. I just know it. But yeah, so I am... Oh, do you hear that? That's the ice cream truck. Oh my gosh, how perfect. We're going to have ice cream in this video, and they're driving by my house. Hopefully you could hear that. How fun. Okay. So I don't even know what I was talking about before then, but yeah, Zentangle. I do think it would make me a better artist in the way of, like, those windows are extra wonky. It's all good. As I was painting and playing with this page, I thought about the kind of spread that I'm creating here. Look, if you can't draw in your journal and play and have fun in your journal, then that's a sad state of affairs, right? So like it doesn't have to be perfect. Look, I making a video that I'm putting on the internet and I didn't even care how precise those windows were. I was just going with it, having fun, not overthinking it, and not stressing out, just having fun. And I want to inspire you to do the same thing in your journals. I mean, chances are in your journals, you're not putting the spreads on the internet. So you have even less to worry about. Like, play, have fun, draw like a child. It's quite all right. These bricks are super wonky, right? You guys can do it. You can do it. Okay, so torn was one of the parameters or prompts, and I tore out some very rough brick-like shapes, glued them onto my page, and then now I was kind of playing around. This is old paper is the color, and I'm just kind of adding some color, this green color, and then I'm going to bring in some brown here and distress with a little bit of that. See, I'm going over that grout now that we had added with that light and fluffy paste. Definitely want to make sure that's dry before you do this process. Going around all the bricks and all the areas. And then I really wanted to add some gray to it. So I'm adding some gray now and just taking that around the very edges. And I am putting this white copy paper, behind so that I don't get it on the pages behind or the pages going forward in this journal. I did put a 3-inch spine on this little bitty 6 by 3.5 inch journal because I knew I would do some thick and chunky pages and I would need a thick and chunky spine. So now that I've got that done, I wanted to do some sprays, but I wanted to keep it kind of controlled. So I brought out this book page and I'm just keeping it from being circles. I wanted it to be more like the lines of brick. And this is Salvaged Patina is the color of spray that I used. And I'm going to bring in my brush and kind of move a little bit of this paint around. You guys, it's just fun. It's just playtime when I do things like this. We've talked about it many times here on the channel. It can feel like, disastrous. It can feel like a danger zone sometimes when you're in the process. But I promise if you just stick to it and you keep going and you keep adding, you will find a place that you can appreciate in your artwork. So once I was there, then I wanted to add on these elements. I didn't let the Salvaged Patina dry completely, but I almost did. I would just suggest that you let your background dry completely before you add on your ephemera. But it all turned out just fine. So I'm nearly done with this page, but I do want to go ahead and glue on some of that moss that I had cut out, that faux moss. I was going to use real moss. I just couldn't find it. We have some from when we were doing bonsai trees. It has been so hot in Texas. I think it's been so hot everywhere. I mean, I keep seeing that globally we're breaking records, which doesn't seem like the records we want to break, but it is. Ice cream intermission. If only the ice cream truck had come by now. Look, you guys get the first bite, some Rocky Road, and the second bites for you guys. Yes, I had ice cream. And while I was having my ice cream, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back with some gold paint and fill in the space between that embroidery floss and the edge of the page. And while I was doing it, I was like, oh boy, I don't know. This might have been a mistake, but I'll show you what it looks like at the end. I ended up liking it. Okay, these are the last 2 pages I'm doing with you guys today. And this one is Tucked Away is day 15 and Maximalism is day 16. Well, that's easy for me. Minimalism would be more of a challenge, but maximalism as a junk journaler, yes, I can do that. So I finished cutting all the ephemera from that Sweet Pea Curiosities kit, which I'm going to leave linked down below. What you see here is not the full kit. And this kit may not be appealing to you, but she could have things that are. If you saw my Polaroid video with the cute girls that are really expressive, those came from Sweet Pea as well. Like, she has a lot of different stuff. Like I said, I accidentally bought the wrong kit. I need to go back and maybe get the right kit. Okay, but what I'm doing here is adding all of the things. I got this trim recently at a creative reuse center. And actually, no, this one came from my favorite thrift store for 25 cents. And so I'm adding that at the top eventually. What I'm doing there was like spacing it. I didn't want to cover up those cherubs in the top. I wanted to space these just right because I still wanted that scene and that top piece of ephemera to be visible once I added the trim and the lady underneath and all the things. So I was bringing that in at the time just to space that out right. Okay, so we need maximalism, check, and we need tucked away. So a pocket. Yeah, a pocket. That seems like the right thing to do. You could do a belly band. You could do lots of things. I created a pocket, and then I brought back in this rose gold metallic paint, which is an acrylic paint from Folk Art. And I'm just going all around the edges. And I really love this page. I love this page when it get to the point really before I add the tags and the extra pocket. I'm going to be revisiting this in a junk journal for sure, or probably 12, because I'm liking this a lot. So I do this, gold border around, and then I'm going to glue down this piece of ephemera. And then I'm going to come back in with the paint again, and I'm going to paint around the ephemera to really make like it is meant to be, like it's part of the page, and this is all very intentional, which it is. It just unifies everything and brings everything together. I really love this page and want to make it again and again. So once I have that done, I'm going to let my paint dry, the acrylic paint, and then I'm going to use up the very last of this Fabric Fix, which you guys might have heard me say in a different video. Like, I always thought that Fabric Fix and Fabri-Tac were probably pretty much the same glue. They're not. They're very different. And so I'm using up this Fabric Fix, and I have Fabri-Tac now, and I will probably just continue to use Fabri-Tac in the future. Anyways, I mean, Fabric Fix never let me down, but they're just different consistencies. And I prefer the consistency of the Fabri-Tac over Fabric Fix. That's a lot. Okay, so I've got my trim on, and I put my gold paint down there on that piece that I hadn't covered. And then this again is just a part of that Sweet Pea Curiosities kit. And it had tags and pockets and all that ephemera. Again, I'm going maximalism here. So 1 pocket's great, 2 pockets, 2 tuckaways are even better. So I'm going to add this pocket on here. And then I thought, maximalism. Okay, probably making a junk journal for my junk journal page is kind of like taking it to the max. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue down this flea market, which is so cute, and help tie that page together. And then I took scraps, I distressed them all, and I'm making a little junk journal to go on this page. It actually has quite a few pages, and I use some scrap sari silk from my stash and tying that in a little bow. So this is going to be a flowish journal. I was thinking I could staple it, but I never like that. I'm not going to sew it, although I could like stitch it together or run it through my sewing machine. I just tied a bow. And then I'm going to use all the rest of the ephemera because, again, I'm just taking it to the max, and I'm decorating this little junk journal, and I'm putting ephemera like on every spread. And it's so cute. Look at this little mini. Isn't she precious? So that's going to go in that front pocket. And then my back pocket, I'll have 2 tags. And this page is done. And 5 tassels on the top. All right, you guys, I'm going to take you through from beginning day 1. I'm going to rework this page. I just know I am. Day 2, day 3. You can all see all of these days and the making of and previous videos. Okay. But here we are. So here is day 9 and 10. And with that gold around the edge, yeah, that grew on me. Day 11 and 12, which was paper samples and gratitude. Love that. Day 13 and 14, details and torn. You know, I just combined them, making this my own. Day 15 and 16, tucked away and maximalism. You guys definitely check out Junk Journal July. It's hosted by Meg Journals. I will leave it all linked down below in the description box. You can find lots of creative people doing their own thing, just like me, and be inspired and get into your journals and have some fun. I know that that's what I'm doing. Now, I had a little boo-boo here, but no problem. I can fix that. It got caught on that piece of ephemera there, but it should be good now. So I'm going to tuck that back in. I did add this little cute needlepoint piece of ephemera on there. And I just love it, you guys. I hope you do too. I hope you're inspired. And I will see you next time.